And we continue to trend in the right direction locally with COVID-19 cases.
Here to talk more about it, Upstate Global Health Director, Dr. Stephen Thomas. Dr. Thomas, good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, good evening.
Well, what is your take on where we're at with vaccinations, Dr. Thomas, right now in central New York?
I think we're in a really good spot. We still have some work to do, but about, as you heard, more than 50% of New Yorkers have received at least a single dose of vaccine. The same is true for Central New York. The concern is that, the number of new doses that are being administered each day is trending downward. That would be the concern, because we still have a significant percent of the population who need to get vaccinated. But it's a very good start, and I think that the case numbers and the number of hospital admissions and the deaths we've seen due to COVID are a reflection of the positive vaccination.
How, Dr. Thomas, though, do we encourage more and more people to get their shot? We've seen all sorts of different incentives. You can take your mask off, things like that. But what is it going to get more people vaccinated? We still need them, you just said, right?
Absolutely. Well, I think the first thing is you have to have the consistent message that vaccination is safe. Vaccination will reduce your risk of getting infected, it'll reduce your risk of getting sick, and it'll reduce your risk of dying from COVID. And you can still get COVID in Central New York like you can in pretty much every other place in the country. I think the second thing is to have, is to be patient and have a frank conversation with people, listen to what their concerns are, because people have legitimate concerns about side effects and having to miss work because of side effects and things of that nature. And you should have a frank discussion with them about, what their fears may be and what the facts are, because I think you can have people thinking a little bit differently if you have that conversation. And, I think the last thing is, you have to acknowledge that there are going to be some things that vaccinated people can do and unvaccinated people are not going to be able to do. And folks are going to have to make a personal decision about whether or not they want to participate in all the things that vaccinated people are going to be able to participate in, because I think that's going to be a real reality once these vaccines start getting full license and approval from the FDA.
And everybody's wondering, especially those who got vaccinated early on, how long the vaccination lasts. Anything new as far as research on that front, and when we might need boosters?
Yeah, so I think we know, at least with the current vaccines that are under emergency use authorization, at least the two messenger RNA vaccines, the Moderna and Pfizer vaccine, both companies have published 6-month data in press releases, and the data looks very promising. My expectation is that both companies are going to be reporting that data in the scientific literature relatively soon, so everyone will be able to take a look at it. So I think out to 6 months, the data looks very, very strong. Beyond that, we are collecting the data, but as you know, because we've been going through this for the last year or so, it's a big process to collect data from 70,000 people and curate it and analyze it and then put it in a form that's suitable for consumption. Me personally, I think that the data at 6 months looks so good that I will be surprised if we need booster doses before a year, to be honest with you. But we just have to get the data, and I don't want to speculate.
Dr. Thomas, we hear these good numbers as far as new cases down, deaths down, everything like that. Are we on two paths, though? Are we on a vaccinated path and an unvaccinated path of how much of a risk there still is of COVID?
Yeah, I think when you look at all the available data that's out there, whether it's data from the vaccine trials or data from just kind of surveillance that different medical institutions are doing, or you look at the real world data that's been reported in the medical literature, vaccine breakthrough, so meaning people who are vaccinated still getting COVID. I mean, it happens, right? It happens with every vaccine and every disease, but the rate is less than 1%. So again, these vaccines are highly, highly efficacious. So the people that are getting infected, the people that are getting sick, the people that are getting admitted to the hospital, and unfortunately the hundreds of people every day that are dying in the United States from COVID still is these are unvaccinated people. So as it relates to your risk of COVID, you definitely are on one path or the other. You are on the I can't be vaccinated for some reason, or I don't want to be. That's one path, and then the other path is you can be vaccinated, which is why we're still wearing masks until the numbers get better, right? To try and protect the vulnerable.
And Dr. Thomas, what are we learning about how COVID-19 emerged? The president is asking for a review. How important is it to know how and why this virus came to be and how to stop another situation from happening again?
Yeah, that's a very, very hot topic. And I mean, it's important to know primarily so that we can prevent it from happening again. And, you know, anyone who works in a laboratory and works with viruses or bacteria or other pathogens that can cause a disease in humans, there are lots and lots of rules that need to be followed, and you know, national level rules and international level rules. And you know, when there is, if there is any kind of accident, there needs to be full disclosure. So that's kind of one camp. The other camp is that viruses evolve from animals all the time and jump to humans with relative frequency. We see this with influenza, we've seen it with bird flu, we've seen it with lots of other diseases. So that is still, in my opinion, the more likely scenario here. But the bottom line is, in my opinion, until you have complete and full disclosure and transparency, and disinterested and objective parties can go in and look at both of those potential scenarios with full, you know, 100%, we're not going to know the answer, and it is important to know the answer.
Upstate to Global Health Director, Dr. Stephen Thomas. We always enjoy having you on and giving us some answers to some of these questions. We'll have you back again soon. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you, Doctor.